car and driver. Car and driver. Let's give you an example here. I was once giving some consultation to a masjid, and I was looking at, well, let's pinpoint where the problem of the masjid is. Every organization, anything you're going to lead is going to need to have leadership in 3 areas, okay? Number 1 is marketing. You need to get your message out to people. Number 2 is operations. You need to actually do something. Operations. And number 3 is your finances. And here's like a side point about the finances. Anybody who says, you know what, we're doing this project fi sabilillah, so let's collapse the finances part. If it's for fi sabilillah, then Allah deserves that you built this house on solid foundation. So don't come to the masjid and put the masjid in, a $1 million debt and just mismanage the masjid. This is Allah's house. It needs management, and with the finances, that's your solid foundation. Now you have the power to build on that, okay? But anyhow, you need these 3 things. So with this, I was talking to this message, and I'm like, on a scale of 0 to 10, how do you get your message across about your activities? Okay, whatever number they got. Operations, and they're pretty good with operations. When they actually do the event, they have the volunteers. Finances, they're actually okay with finances, this masjid. And then I'm like, now here's the crucial question. Who is your leader? I go to them on a scale of 0 to 10, what would you give your leader? And they're like, they looked at me like this, like. And then they talk to each other like, who's the leader? And then they turn to a guy who's like on the board member and is like, you're the leader. He's like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, subhanAllah. I go, what you just said to me right now, the fact that you don't even know who the leader is, tells me that everybody in your organization in the car is sitting in the back seat. Your finance guy is in the back seat, your marketing guy, and your operations, they're all in the back seat. Now here's the scary part. This is extremely scary. It's not that the car is not moving. The car is moving. There's no driver. Remember what I said earlier about the arcade game? The game has begun. It's just that you've stepped away from leading it, and you're getting pounded. So your youth, every day you waste, your youth are going from grade 4 to grade 5 to grade 6. As you try to figure out this leadership, that's it, they're gone. You just lost a generation there. Some critical, they could have memorized the Quran, they could have done things during that time, just a leader never showed up for them. Even as you look in your city, wherever city you're from, who is the leader for the city? And I'm posing that question because you know as much as I do that we have no leader. There is no unifying leader. There are smaller group leaders, correct? This area has a leader, this area, this kind of like group. There is no unifying leader. And so when we finally get something done, it is mob style. Danish cartoons, perfect example. It is mob. There's no leader for that. It's just a viral mob thing. And even some leaders, then all of a sudden they come along and they're like, no, we need to be more organized, stuff like that. Forget you, they get trampled. The mob goes forward. Do we want to run this ummah as a mob? And every time, we just want to rile people up for every issue, there's just mob leadership. So in your city, whatever you're dealing with, this is the number 1 issue. Take them out and you're driverless. And you will either crash or you'll go nowhere. And if you go nowhere, the car is still moving anyway, so that's what you get. You have sheep, okay? You have sheep, and sometimes we use sheep and sometimes we use zombie. Zombie is like Walking Dead. That's why zombie works better. Kind of like they're walking, but they're dead. And the case of the sheep is like they're just following a leader. Now here's the really scary part. What is the purpose of a shepherd to sheep? Is it not to protect the sheep? Right? Shepherd protects the sheep. Protects them from what? From a wolf. Let's just like generalize it. There's other harms, but protects them from wolf, takes them from point A to point B, but protects them from the wolf. What if the wolf comes along one day and says, you know what, I'd like to apply for this shepherd job that you have? And we're like, sure, yeah, you go ahead. TV, sure, come in our house. Sure, no problem. No representation in government, nothing like that. The wolf has become the shepherd. And the wolf is like, now, here's the barn, here's all the sheep. The sheep are like, so what do we do? It's like, come into my mouth. That's what you do. I will eat you one by one. Shaitan is the shepherd. Take out the leader and shaitan. Now I'm giving you some examples of shaitan's things, but shaitan becomes the leader. Take no leader in the community, shaitan runs it. And everybody's doing hot potato leadership, pass it on. Like, oh, somebody should do something about it. I'm going to talk about that. Somebody should do something about that. That attitude of somebody should do something.